Good morning, friends. Welcome to Midnight Live. Crap, let's hit the right button this time. Good morning, friends. Welcome to Morning Night Live. You know what? Let's just start that again. Watch this. Good morning, friends. Welcome to Morning Night Live. I do have my cup of coffee, and it's going to be a truncated version today because I was running late this morning. But that's okay. It's going to be interesting. Here we go. Start the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America. It's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. All right, let's stop the music. And poof, there I am. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Marty, aka Dawg Knight. And just before I forget, let's get the little background noise going right away. Yes, let me turn that up a little bit because I thought it was a little soft yesterday, but not too soft, not too loud. We got it going. So, I see people are kind of strolling in. Let me ask you a question, because I noticed on my screen here, it says, oh, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So you might get a choppy view, although my voice should work just fine. And the topic today, which is one I really just wasn't interested in too much at all this morning, but I can't help it because it seems to be the topic of the day. And that would be the moral authority of Greta Thunberg. And I have nothing bad to say about the girl, honestly. I don't feel like I have any obligation to listen to her, but I don't have any problem with her, getting her day in the spotlight. It's just the problem I'm having is people are. She's on a pedestal right now. No, you're not late. I'm late. I'm late as all get out. The pedestal she's being put on, but also the argument over whether or not. Well, there is no argument whether or not she could speak. That's just the thing. There's a lot of people who just disagree with the girl and also don't feel any reason to, worry about a child that seems to be, in my opinion, being used as a human shield, because the second you criticize even the idea that she's being put out there in the way she's being put out there, you are immediately what's the word? You're someone give me a word for that. You're immediately condemned. Let's put it that way, condemned. And so, but I didn't want to talk about this today, and yet I'm forced to a little bit, just because, just give a tweet. My friend Sofane, who I really enjoy, Sofane's a good dude, but this interesting tweet that he puts out this morning. And I'm going right into Twitter today, I guess. Interesting tweet that I get out there this morning. Where'd it go? I just accidentally flipped it out of here. Because, and maybe Fane will watch today. I don't know. He'll see my tweet that I'm putting out the show, and maybe he'll criticize me or whatever, or maybe he'll just watch to see what I have to say. But I just didn't feel like I could have been on Twitter all morning on this topic because it's fascinating to me. So here's the tweet he put out this morning, and I respect Sofane. We and I disagree on some things, but I think he's funny as hell, and I enjoy his channel, and I've been on there a couple times, and I hope to have him on my channel sometime. But he puts out this tweet. It's funny to see the people that defended Soph tooth and nail now go after Greta Thunberg just as vigorously. Your opinions are less than worthless. Now, that is fascinating to me that he would use that particular analogy of the people that defended Soth for the people who are going after Greta Thunberg, because I have yet to see. Now, I've seen people very critical of Greta Thunberg, but not, I think the biggest part is she is being put on this pedestal and put out in front of the world, which is fine. I don't care. I think it's silly, and I think it's going to cause her some trauma down the line, but whatever. But the idea that there is a similarity here is strange. Now, the main similarity that I see between the people that defended Soth and Greta Thunberg, or at least the difference between those two people, is both are, in my opinion, both are being abused by the people with right think, in a sense. And here's what I mean. Okay, so Soth was just a girl who had this you may not even know who Soth is. Soth was this edgy 14-year-old YouTuber, made a lot of videos. She had like 800,000 followers, or almost a million. Well, she had almost 1 million followers before they took her channel down, or took away her toys, so to speak. And she made edgy videos with a lot of right-wing talking points, and it was interesting because she wrote all her stuff herself, and it was obvious, and she was very thoughtful, but she was still 14 years old. So she had this channel, and the powers that be decided that she was not allowed to have the opinions that she had, and I guess at some point she had some sort of kind of alt-right or alt-light opinions or whatever. But very popular, very a lot of conservative style points. And so YouTube throttled her, and I don't even know what her situation is now. I think they took her channel down more than once, and it may be down for good now. So people were defending her right to say what she wanted to say. Now, people on the progressive left, and I'm not disparaging them, I just disagree with them. But the people on the progressive left, were cheering this, thought this was great because she's just this alt-right thing and she has bad ideas, shouldn't have those opinions, yada, 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 yada. Now, Greta Thunberg, the people who were defending Soth were people who were defending her right to say what she wants to say. And whether it be on YouTube or on whatever format she had, and of course the progressive left's like, well, it's a private platform, you don't have freedom of speech here. Well, that's part of the problem. They're throttling back what people can say, and you know what, sorry if I sound like one of those those free speech absolutists, but I kind of am. I don't care if Richard Spencer has a YouTube channel. I want to hear what that asshole has to say, because I want to be able to say, you're an asshole. Okay? So give him a channel. I want the Nick Fuenteses and I don't know how to classify Nick, but I want the white nationalist assholes out there, because I want to hear what they're saying. I want to hear what stupidity comes out of their mouth, and so it's easy, so you can tackle it. Okay, now he's kind of hidden out there, and I don't know what he's doing. Although CNN put him on when they thought they could exploit him a little bit, whatever. Now, that's a whole different thing, where a girl, 14-year-old, is on her own initiative, putting herself out there, making a YouTube channel. People can listen to her or they cannot listen to her, and no one's out there making her out to be this moral authority. She's 14 years old. Whatever she says, she's still a 14-year-old in my mind. Her brain isn't developed. She's hearing things from wherever she's hearing it from. Kind of like what's the dude? Kid? Oh, what's his name? Here's another conservative kid that has a YouTube channel who's out there all the time, and he's a young black kid, and his name's crossed my mind. He talks a lot too, and he's Mr. Talking Points. He got all the TPUSA talking points, even though before TPUSA existed. And I'm a conservative black person like him, but you know what? Even listening to him, I give him no moral authority. Okay, he's interesting. He says a lot of things that I agree with, but I give him no moral authority. Same with Greta Thunberg. But here's the thing: Greta Thunberg has been put on a worldwide pedestal, coming out to scold everyone else on talking points on climate change. She adds nothing to the conversation except for the fact that she's young, and so she's going to live a long time. But here's the thing: they've got, as I've watched this whole climate change strike on Friday and the bullshit going on DC on Monday yesterday, they've got these people brainwashed into thinking the world's going to end in a few years, that we're all going to die, and they're frightened completely out of their gourds, and they have no idea what those of us they're scolding have been through or have done in relation to what they're talking about. This girl's been around 16 years. So to have a 60-year-old scold me about climate change, which you know what? Yes, the climate's changing. Okay? Also, we've been told that we're already beyond the point where we can make changes that are going to change anything. But then you got someone telling us now that there's AOC who's just learning about it herself, and she's now out there telling us, oh, we've got 12 years and it's all going to be over. But we've been told that at least 5 different times since Al Gore made his movies, right? So perhaps, and on the other part of this is, I have been told my entire life why the world is going to end due to man-made causes, right? Because when I was very young, we were supposedly going into a brand new ice age. And then in my younger grade school to middle school years, we would not be able to sustain the population on Earth. We would all die of starvation by 1985. And then when I got into college, I read that one again, but I also heard about the ozone layer, and acid rain. That was the one when I was really young. We were all going to die because acid rain was going to destroy the planet. And then we had the what's the next one? The next one was the ozone layer. We were all going to die because the ozone layer, because of all the chlorofluorocarbons and freon and stuff. So we were all going to die from that too. And then Al Gore came around and said, oh no, that global, that temporary point in time where they said, oh no, we're going to have a new ice age. Oh no, we were wrong. Now we're having the global warming, right? And so Al Gore said, and I really do, I want to go watch the Inconvenient Truth again, because Al Gore said we would be all dead by 2005, right? So, Seagrath, that's not funny. The ice age. No, I'm not that old. Anyway, so now so when Al Gore came out with the Inconvenient Truth, all those markers that he set in that movie were ridiculous. And so every time it's this arrogance that the Earth is going to die because of man, the Earth will be here, folks. We may not be, okay, but it's the doomsday scenario. And every time we've had this doomsday scenario, no matter what it was, the solutions always seem to be the same. Give more of your money to the government and change how we live economically from capitalism to socialism. It's always those two ideas. Now, I Look, climate's been changing on Earth since the Earth existed, right? Yes, there may be some effects from carbon. They say 97% of the scientists agree. Well, that's because they only count the scientists that agree in the affirmative and the ones who are getting grants. So they say, oh, all these ones who get grants, of all these people who are getting grants and doing research, right? They're the ones who all agree. So if you're gonna study climate and the prevailing, well, let's put it this way. There was a time when 97% of scientists thought the Earth was flat. Just saying, okay? And really, when the survey they bring that 97% number from was a survey that if they answered, they only counted the ones that answered in the affirmative and the negative, when there's 40% who didn't answer it either way. Okay, so they're not counting that 40% that didn't answer either. 50, some more than that even. So they have the 97%, and the 3% were the parts that answered one way or the other. It's faulty, and even if it was 97%, they agree that the question that they agreed to was, do humans contribute to global warming? That's the question that they agree on. Now, doesn't say they 97% agree on the solution that Al Gore came up with, or 97% agree with the solution that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez came up with, or they don't agree that, we must do this particular thing, or this particular thing, or this particular thing. The agreement is 97% that agree that humans affect the climate change. They don't agree to the degree to which of humans affect climate change. They don't agree to the percentage that climate change versus solar spots versus, Earth rotation versus blah, blah, blah. All these, they don't agree to what degree all the different factors affect climate change. They just agree that human activity is part of the reason the climate is changing. In fact, you know what? Here's an interesting thing. So there's more carbon in the air, and granted, it's maddening, and so there's more carbon in the air than there was, say, 100 years ago. Okay, right? There's also more. Because they were talking about, they're burning part of the rainforest down, to make more room for cows and agriculture. Because it's funny because some of these kids on here are saying the world is burning. Well, the world isn't burning necessarily because of climate. The Amazon's not burning because of climate change. The Amazon has fires burning because they're clearing land for certain types of agriculture. Now, and what's happened though is that the Amazon forest had expanded for a while, so there was reforestation going on. So they're not even back to the point where the lowest amount of forestation was. Okay, it's frustrating. So I'm going through this thread though, and so here's some of the replies. So now Sinatra puts out the picture of the Covington kids because going after kids suddenly is either okay or it's not okay, or it's okay depending on what side of what issue you're on. And I just don't agree that kids have moral authority necessarily, and nor do they always understand the nuances of everything. But see, right now they want to roll out the kids so they can be human shields. You can't criticize a kid, especially a kid with autism. Oh my God. She has autism. You can't criticize anything she's saying. But if you watched her the other day, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I thought she seemed I thought she seemed very scripted. And it was almost like, because there was a point when she's having this very impassioned speech in, I think it was in front of the UN or somebody, this meeting that they're having on economics and climate, whatever. And so has this very impassioned speech, right? The "How dare you" speech, and it was so. Now I've listened to her speak off the cuff and have people ask her questions, and it was never so organized. But this one was super organized, and there was points where she looked like she was trying to cry, and she was trying her damnedest to cry, but couldn't. And that really bugged me too, because it's like, I've seen this before. I saw this during the Jussie Smollett interview, where he was really trying to, where he was really trying to be emotional, but it was, and it was. There's something about me it bugged me. Now I have no problem with her message. I guess the thing that bugs me about this most is we're terrifying some young people. Now some people are just like, but the ones that at these rallies, some of them were in tears, terrified. Like, I don't get it. What Jussie Smollett interview? He did a Today Show interview a long time ago. During when everyone thought it was still real, with Robin Givens. Anyway, so as I go through this thread, though, now there's some people that are just, I don't know. Let's see here. Let's just go through this, because the question he asked. It's funny to see that people defended Soph tooth and nail now go after Greta Thunberg just as vigorously. Your opinion are less than worthless. Really? Why does that make my opinion yet less than worthless? Opinion about what? Because Soph was defended because she was being denied her speech. Greta Thunberg is being, I don't know, criticized or whatever. She's autistic. She doesn't convey emotions like a non-autistic person. Well, no, I agree. I get that. But anyway, but am I allowed to disagree with her ideas? Is that because the people going after Greta Thunberg, are they saying that she shouldn't be allowed to speak, or that maybe she shouldn't be used as a human shield, or that she might be being exploited by people to use as a human shield? That's the problem. That's the part I have a problem with. I don't have a problem with that she's out there speaking. More power to her. Greta Thunberg, make a YouTube channel, make it all about climate change, and you tell everyone what you want to do. I absolutely will defend you the same way I defend Soph, even though I don't agree with Soph and everything. Okay? More power to you, Greta. Say what you want, but am I allowed to disagree with some of what you say, despite the fact that you're 16 years old and has autism, and so somehow you get this moral authority because some people really like what you're saying? Okay? I reserve the right to not agree with you on some things and not accept you scolding me as an adult who has been around for a while and has seen so many different urgent scares on this planet. Okay, I've had too many. So if you're gonna tell me that this is also urgent, okay, all the people telling me that this is an urgent problem, I don't see you changing your behaviors to this urgent problem. Your solution to the urgent problem is to tell us how to live our lives, or tell us how to change our government, or change our entire way of thinking about how we live, despite the fact that the United States is the one country in the world that has reduced its emissions by 20% over the last 10 years, or between 11 and 20%, somewhere in there. Okay, While there's other, I don't see you going into the government of China and telling them who've increased their emissions by almost 120% over the last 10 years versus us reducing our emissions. Okay, yes, we're the second largest producer of carbon, whatever, greenhouse gases, but we've reduced our emissions by 20%. We're doing our part as one of the largest emitters of it. India and China have it. Excuse me, not 120%. I think 88% for India and like over 50 or 60% for China. Their emissions have gone up. So coming to the UN and, because then the glare is always about Donald Trump. Well, yeah, Donald Trump left the Paris Accord, but we're the country that has been reducing emissions. Okay? Europe and the US have reduced their emissions. We've reduced our emissions by almost the same amount as Europe has, despite leaving that accord. Okay, or despite whatever that was. I mean, that accord was nothing because it didn't give any. It didn't require as much from other countries because they were able to manipulate their way of how much they were going to set their goals. They reduced their rate of increase of emissions, where we actually reduced our emissions. Okay. So anyway, so I'm gonna go through some of this thread. There's now. Let's see, but before I do that, let's say good morning. I haven't even said good morning to you guys yet. So first of all, let me give a bell to Sheograth, who was here first. Thank you. The gayest person on YouTube is also here. Thank you. Good morning. Check your logic. Richo, Tyler F. Duck Dog, Longfish 61, W.R. Cranston, Enzakur. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Enzakur, Quick Sticks Production. I'm welcome. I'm not sure if you've been here before, but I'm glad you're here. There's nothing wrong with rational fear. We should all be shitting ourselves. I disagree. I don't think we should be shitting ourselves. Let's see, just because politicians exaggerate climate change, good, we're gonna have a conversation today. Well, here, I'll get into that second. Good morning, Chi-Town J, Ghost Dawg Knight 999, Lord Rothschild, and all right, so there we go. So Quick Sticks, real quick, I'm gonna address you. Just because politicians exaggerate climate change doesn't delegitimize the grave threat of climate change. Okay, here's the thing though. Grave threat. Okay, tell me the grave threat. Okay, the issue is, so all these models that they've had, right? They have these climate models, and that's what it's based on. Now there has been some data that they've changed. The other thing that cracks me up. And I remember when they did this, because it was in the news, and it was a small blurb in the news when they went back and revised all the climate data, all the temperature data, dating back to, I think, like 1910 or something like that. I think NASA went in and they adjusted all their temperature data. And it just so happened when they adjusted all their temperature data, it, instead of showing the fluctuations up and down over the last just 100 years, roughly 100 years, all of the data that they changed just made it gradually go up and up and up. So suddenly, instead of having those couple years in the 20s that were among the highest temperature years, now suddenly all the last few years have been the highest temperature years, and those kind of went away all of a sudden. And also, these climate models, so all this is based on climate models. But the climate models have been wrong almost from the beginning, right? Because first you had Michael Mann's hockey stick, right? That they're supposed to go like this, and then all of a sudden it's supposed to go up like this. Well, we figured out that was wrong because his model didn't pan out. Again, let me remind you, I do not disagree that the climate changes and it's changing, and that certainly I don't disagree that man have impact on it. But you said, what does you say? Grave threat of climate change. I've never had anyone been able to answer the question, one, what's the normal temperature of the Earth? Okay, on average. Okay, clearly we've had an ice age that we've been coming out of. In fact, we're still technically coming out of an ice age. Okay, so all these glaciers you're seeing in Greenland and all over, they used to be all over where I live. I live in Minnesota. Minnesota was one giant glacier. No glacier here anymore. There's a lot of leftover lakes from those glaciers, but the glaciers are gone, been long gone. Okay, that's climate change. Okay, used to be glaciers, not a single glacier that I can see in Minnesota right now. Okay, and those glaciers have been melting ever since the ice age. Global warming, and in fact, I should make a T-shirt. Global warming, ever since the ice age. Okay. We also know from the temperature record that the Earth has been much warmer in the past. Okay. That's what during the dinosaur ages, the Earth was much warmer. So what's the correct temperature of the Earth? Also, the climate models. So they have these climate models, and all of them have been wrong because all the predictions that they were making in '96 are wrong. Almost all the predictions they made in Al Gore's movie were wrong. Okay, because that we should all be dead by now. New York should be underwater. Miami should be underwater. Part of Los Angeles should be underwater. San Francisco is a little bit up on a hill, so the water should be all up there. Some of these places should already be underwater according to prior predictions. Also, the climate models, it's funny, and someone reminded me this morning, I think Monkey was talking about this. So the climate models that they have predicting this, gradual rise in temperatures over the next 100 years or whatever, why is it when you put the actual data in the climate models from the past, they don't match what actually happened? Does that make sense? If you put in the actual data into those climate models, none of them are right. So I'm not sure the climate's changing, and humans adjust to climate change, and we adapt to a lot of different things as humans. Over thousands of years, we've adapted. There was a warm period in the 1400s that was warmer than now. Somehow humans adapted. Now, there's a lot more to lose if, for example, Miami or New York does go underwater, but the set your hair on fire, having kids crying in the street during a climate strike, when all that information is there, doesn't make sense to me. Yes, we should make adjustments to whatever we're doing, but the solutions have always been, the solutions are always give the government more money and socialism. Okay? Well, really, it's funny because when we were having the population bomb threats during the 70s, the guy who wrote the book, The Population Bomb, when the world was not going to be able to sustain life after 1985, I think he predicted, something weird happened. We got better at agriculture production, more efficient, and without destroying land as much. And we've been able to feed the world for the most part. Capitalism is what feeds a lot of the world. Okay? Now is it perfect? Obviously it's not perfect. We have homeless people here that we don't take care of, but we are quick to take care of people who are coming here illegally. That's a whole nother topic. But capitalism is why the rest of the world's getting fed. That's weird. That we were supposed to be all dead. We were not supposed to feed the world after 1985, according to this book written in the mid-70s, because the world was going to be overpopulated when it was still like 3 billion people. Now we're at 7, and we're still feeding most of the world. And a lot of the world's able to feed itself better because capitalism came up with innovations that have been used throughout the world. Now, is it... And... there's more forestation in the world right now than there. The world has been greening since the increase in CO2. Why is that? Oh my gosh! What do plants use for food? CO2. Amazing. So does the Earth adjust? You remember that ozone layer, the hole in the ozone? And they said it was going to keep growing and growing, and we had to stop because that hole in the ozone. Oh, but then the hole in the ozone started closing, and they're like, oh, shit. That was supposed to kill us, too. The hole in the ozone was supposed to kill us. There's all kinds of things you can scare people with about what they're going to do. I swear to God, there's been 5 different things during my lifetime that should have ended the world by now. And the world is still here. I'm still kicking. In fact, I've got new shit. I got this silly phone that I can use as a computer that has more power than the first computer I ever bought. Because technology's gotten better. You know? And also, all these, but again, these people are scolding you. How many of them are changing their own habits? There was a funny tweet yesterday. Let me see if I can find it. Bernie Sanders. It was Bernie Sanders, and he was talking about Greta. Oops, what do I do there? Let me find this real quick. Search Bernie Sanders. There's his Twitter there, right there. Bernie Sanders. Where's his picture? He had a picture of Greta on here. And because, yeah, it was brilliant. Here it is. No, that's not the one. Where's the one where he talked about Greta? This is amazing. What's the date? Oh, 24th. This was on the 23rd. Did he take this down? I think I found some humor that I'm sorry. Where the hell is it? Anyway, he said something about. Here, maybe I can find it here. Hang on, I gotta find this because this is rich. Let's see. I know that. Let's see here. I'm sorry, guys, but this is. Here we go. Here it is. I'll put it on the screen here. Bernie Sanders says, "What a disgrace that it takes a 16-year-old to tell world leaders that what they won't acknowledge. We cannot continue with this type of ruthless capitalism." Oh, I've got way behind in the chat here. "This ruthless capitalism that is destroying our planet. This is why we need young people leading our climate justice movement." First of all, stop with the words climate justice. You sound like an idiot. You're just You're co-opting the word justice. You're just putting justice as a suffix to everything because it sounds like you're being, oh, we need climate justice. It sounds like you're being powerful. Fuck that shit. But anyway, this is now. Remember what I said? You know, the people who preach the most about this are the ones who are not changing their behaviors. Bernie Sanders owns 3 homes. Okay? 3 very good-sized homes, and he drives an Audi R8 in Washington, D.C. An Audi R8 is the Audi 12-cylinder supercar. Here, let's look this up. Audi R8. Here's the specs for an R8. Let's see if we can get some specs on an Audi R8. Here's what it looks like. This is, in fact, it's a red one. It looks just like this one right here. See this red car here? That's an Audi R8. All right. Now let's see if we can find some stats on the Audi R8. Let's go. Let's say 2018. Here's a car and driver article on the Audi R8. Okay, there it is. Very nice. It's a beautiful car. I'm not to worry about it. What did he say though? What did he say? What a disgrace to a 60-year-old tell the world. Okay. This is okay. Oh, we cannot continue with this type of ruthless capitalism that is destroying our planet. Now, Bernie Sanders had never had a job other than being in government. He started as a congressman. He's been a senator. He's been around 35, 40 years in government. Never had a job. Took his vacation, his honeymoon in Russia. That's irrelevant. I don't know why I said that. But anyway, this ruthless capitalist. Now he's a multi-millionaire because he wrote a couple books, which he has. And he says, "Oh well, I deserve that $1 million." But he drives a car that cost $171,500. Oh, ruthless capitalism. Highs, head-turning style, minimalist cabin, V10 engine. He's not even driving an electric vehicle. He's driving an R8 with a V10 engine. Lows, not at all fuel efficient. Little room for cargo, handling could be sharper. Looks great, goes fast, could easily be driven daily. Let's see, do they have, I want to know, let's see, where's the gas mileage? 172,850 for the coupe, 85, what? I don't know which one. He might have the performance spider for all I know. $211,000 for that car. For the car as flashy as the R8, we suggest going with the Spider model. After all, with the top down, well, he does have the Spider model. He has the convertible one. I've seen pictures of him driving it. On one hand, the 562 horsepower version of the V10 engine provides incredible acceleration and the same bellowing wail as the 602 horsepower version. On the other hand, rolling up next to Cars and Coffee event with the ultimate R8 might feel just that little bit more awesome. The R8's V10 engine, where's the gas mileage? I want to see the gas mileage on this bad boy. Here we go. Fuel economy and real-world MPG. An economical choice it is not, but it doesn't really matter. Well, maybe if you're pushing climate science, it is, right? Climate science. For the record, all-wheel drive R8 variants, regardless of roof type or horsepower rating, have the same EPA estimates for fuel economy, but they aren't impressive. In fact, the R8's fuel economy, 13 miles per gallon in the city, and 20 on the highway, if you really want to know, is so low that all buyers must pay a $1,700 gas guzzler tax as a part of the sales price. So be it. So, Bernie Sanders, Mr. We cannot continue with this type of ruthless Wait, no, I'm sorry. I gotta say it like Bernie Sanders. We cannot continue with this type of ruthless capitalism that is destroying our planet. This is why we need young people leading our climate justice movement. Have you changed your behavior, Bernie? No. Set an example instead of just using Greta Thunberg as your human shield. You know what? Guess what? I bet you think the ruthless capitalism has something to do with the homeless problem in different parts of the country. How many of your 2 houses are you housing homeless people in? What are you doing, Bernie Sanders, except running for president so you can tell us all what to do from the top down? Yes, this gets me a little fired up. It's annoying as hell. By the way, while you're here, the Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Right down there. Oh my gosh, it's already that time. Right down there is the, the share button and the like button. Hit the like button if you like what we're doing here. Like, while you're thinking about it. And if we don't do super chats through YouTube, I have a Streamlabs link down there if you really need me to say something, or if you want, you've got questions you want me to ask. I'll do that if you put them in the super chat. I will answer just about any questions. So, can you? I don't. This is nuts. So back to this. What's my notification here? I think someone sent me something. Let's see. Mike Savage more. Okay, thank you, Mike Savage, for retweeting and liking all that stuff. So, and thank you, Angel Tibbs, for actually retweeting. Rather than liking, retweet my show if you can. I would appreciate that. So anyway, back to my and you know what? I have a lot of respect for Sofan. I'm never going to talk bad about him, but I just disagree with him sometimes. But back into this, it's here Monkey got into it with him. Ranty Monkey, y'all know Ranty Monkey. So he says, I see Soph is going to be the talking point of the day. Soph was silenced for politically incorrect jokes, and people came to her defense. Greta's the new liberal Jesus. Yeah, it's well, I'll let you just listen to the thread first. While I never support using kids as political props, there's a clear difference here. CJ Pearson, that's the kid I was talking about, who, he's another kid. He was a kid. A lot of conservatives like him because he says conservative things and talking points and whatnot. And great. I like what he says, but I don't give him any moral authority either. He's still a kid. I mean, he's just coming out of high school, or he's a senior in high school now, I think. But he's been doing this since he was 13. I gave him no moral authority. It was interesting seeing a kid say those things, but he gets no moral authority from me. Anyway, so moving on. So, everything I don't like is religion. So Fan replies. And here's the thing. I think here's the part. So Monkey says, now that we have the jokes out of the way, I don't like when any child is used for political purposes. It's cowardly and potentially dangerous. That said, I think Mini AOC is a better example for your side than Soph, just my opinion. I don't necessarily agree with that. The Covington kids might be, but the Covington kids didn't even say anything, right? But everyone's all over the Covington kids. You can criticize kids who didn't do anything, but you can't criticize a 16-year-old who's scolding you in front of the entire world. I'll criticize her all day. I don't want to be mean-spirited though. She's a kid, but you know what? If you're speaking at some UN conference, your parents put you in that position. Okay, here's the other thing. How did they find out about this girl? Who's the first person who promoted this kid? Because I remember when someone was talking about, okay, so some girl's gonna sail across the ocean to come to this whatever this conference is at the UN, right? And I remember people hyping that before she even left. Who found out about her? How did this particular girl become the spokeshead for this movement? Honestly, it's a bit of, in some ways, it started as an AstroTurf movement that's growing into a more organic movement, but it started out as AstroTurf. I'm telling you, it was not a grassroots. Someone found this kid, this perfect kid, to put out in front of the world to be their human shield, and they had her sailing on this, this boat. She wasn't sailing solo. At first I thought she was sailing solo across the Atlantic, but no, she was sailing with a crew on this boat that, if you think about it, that boat probably has less of has a bigger carbon footprint than just flying in a plane would have. If you think about it, I mean, half the boat was carbon fiber, and the amount of energy it took to build that thing, it's going to be a while before that thing's carbon neutral. It's going to be a long time. But anyway, they continued on. I think that saying Greta has no agency and that 16 is too young to recognize that climate change is a serious issue is some cynical boomer shit. Sofan, I'm just going to tell you right now, and you may or may not see this, you use that boomer thing a little too much, and it's becoming, I think someone says it's lazy. You know what? No, 16 is not too, no one's saying 16 is too young. What I am saying is 16 is too young for someone to be scolding me about it. Okay? I think she can have every opinion she has, and more power to her, having a platform. It's interesting, though, that they've given this particular girl a platform, okay? And because it's easy to use her as a human shield. You can't criticize that little girl with autism. She's speaking truth to power. But it's fine to criticize Soph, right? It's fine to go after the Covington kids, right? Was it fine to go after the Covington kids? Of course it was. Because you didn't like the Covington kids, because that kid smirked at the noble Native American elder, right? So we figured out the noble Native American elder was a shitbag that was trying to instigate shit, that came up and banged a drum in a kid's face for no reason, pretending, and then lied repeatedly about it. Lied, and it's not even a question of whether or not Chief Lying Fire Pants lied. He lied his fucking ass off. All right, no doubt in my mind. Anyway, so that went on for a while. I'm trying to think of some other replies to that. I don't know. Now here's someone talking about soap. To give an indication of how vile this child was, Blaze uses her less offensive clips to frame her a certain way. So what's wrong with her? Is she not allowed to have offensive clips? Huh? Oh no, because she's not doing right thing. According to everybody else, right? So anyway, there's there are some people out there going a little over the top. This Dinesh D'Souza thing, that probably wasn't necessary. Oh, I didn't have to show it to you. I'm sorry. Yeah, he went a little overboard, but you know what? Who put her in that position? Right? Who put her in that position? Her parents did. You know what? I'm feeling bad for these kids that are just trying in the streets, though. Are you kidding me? Live your life, be kids. Let us see if we can figure it out, and let's see if scientists can figure it out. But you know what? It's just it's. I don't know. Let's do this. Because I don't have time to even get into articles today. Let me take a quick look if there's anything out here that jumps out. I'll do one article if I can. Is there anything here? I want to find the... Oh, here we go. 26 arrested at the DC climate change protests. Oh my gosh. Trump was not really nice to her either. 26 arrested climate change protests. 26 climate change protesters were arrested during the climate change protest Monday in Washington, D.C., according to police. Throughout the day, hundreds of climate change protesters blocked off streets and highways all across the city. One group of protesters even locked themselves on a boat. We saw this yesterday. I think we watched it. Oh, yeah, the twerking guy. God, what? This guy, sometimes the protests are just to go out and be narcissists. Plus, this guy, the twerking guy, if you saw any videos of the twerking guy, look up DC protests and twerking guy. They were throwing glitter all over the street. They were littering. That's you know what? That's good for the environment. Throwing garbage in the street anyway. What else was there? Here's the other one. Oh, Trump trolls grading Thunberg. Let's see. Greta Thunberg. She seems like a very happy young girl, Trump says. Well, they had to use that picture. I don't like Breitbart necessarily doing this and taking the worst photo of her. But again, her parents put her in front of the world. And I don't know. President Donald Trump mocked. Did he mock her? I guess so. Mocked teenage Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg. So that'll get the Trump hate going a little more, like he needed it, or like it matters to him anymore, I guess. Monday evening, after she sent leftists swooning with her tearful accusatory speech at the United Nations earlier in the day in New York. Thunberg, who came to the U.S. on a zero-emission sailboat, oh my God, a zero emissions quote unquote, because I'm laughing because owned by the royal family of Monaco, said in part, yeah, the royal family of Monaco went out and built a sailboat with their own hands using nothing but wood that was carved with machetes and planes, right? You know what I mean by a plane, like a planer. And the boat was built entirely by hand with no non-natural parts. The sails were hand sewn, and the sails were hand weaved because they didn't use any electricity. They didn't use anything. There was no metal. All the metal was hand smelted by blacksmiths in Monaco, and oh my gosh, it's hilarious. That boat alone, which was mostly carbon fiber, which is quite the process to build, and all the instrumentation and the backup engine and all the sails that were done on electric weaves and built using electricity and power. I guarantee you that the carbon footprint of that boat ain't going to be neutral for probably 100 years, because the materials they had to get to build the boat. So the zero emission sailboat probably has a higher carbon footprint than my Ford F-150 for the life of my truck. Anyway, my message here, she says, my message is we'll be watching you. This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back at school on the other side of the ocean. Yet, I agree. You should do it on a blog or a YouTube channel. And again, I shouldn't even say that. I don't care if she was at the UN or wherever the hell she was. You know what? Good for her. Here's the thing. Exploiting kids. And the reason, I guess maybe this gets me fired up, because I was Greta Thunberg one long time ago. Now, obviously it was on a smaller scale, but when I was in, I think it was it 5th or 6th grade? 5th or 6th grade. I went to school in Omaha Public Schools. And I was a very articulate young man. I could speak pretty well. And so I got chosen to speak in front of the state legislature about a bill called the Lid Bill, because the spending in Omaha Public Schools had been going up exponentially, and so there was a bill saying that we had to kind of throttle back the increase in spending in the schools because it was kind of getting out of hand and they weren't getting the results for it. So they had this thing called the Lid Bill, and so I got to go speak in front of the state legislature as I think it was 5th, maybe it was 7th or 8th grade. I can't remember how old I was, but anyway. And so I got to go in and speak in front of the legislature talking about how if this bill was passed, how that we would lose our extracurricular activities and we would lose our sports and we would lose this and we'd lose that. And the kids, those are important learning experiences for kids and this and that and that and that. And I gave my speech, right? And because the world was going to end if they were going to stop the increase, they were going to regulate the increase in spending for the schools, and so it would just destroy my life as a child in the Omaha Public Schools. Well, and I got a lot of praise. I made it on the local news and right? And so I was Greta Thunberg. And then what happened was the bill passed. And I honestly, just because my parents were both teachers in the Omaha Public Schools, they didn't really. It was funny because they really didn't put me up to it. They thought it was cool that I was doing it, but it was, I got chosen out of a bunch of kids in the schools, and they passed the bill, and none of the stuff I said happened. I was like. At first I was like, oh shit, they passed this bill. We're gonna lose our music programs, we're gonna lose our sports program, we're gonna lose everything. None of it happened. So now it's gonna be interesting in 15 and 20 years. I'm gonna follow Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg. And I'm just gonna follow it, because if it's kind of like with the Inconvenient Truth, how the predictions in the Inconvenient Truth haven't really come to fruition at all. He was talking about how we were gonna have the increase in hurricanes. We still haven't even had the increase in hurricanes. We've had a few hurricanes, but it's been like way less. And every time Al Gore goes somewhere to speak, it snows. But anyway, Greta Thunberg, in 10, 20 years, if I'm still alive and the planet's still here, and I just want to see if she kind of looks back and goes, oh, I can't believe there's this kid speaking at the UN about how the locust problem is going to destroy all the crops around the world. Because, man, I remember when I spoke about global warming and that shit didn't happen. And now they got some girl up here speaking at the UN about locust. I mean, what the fuck? I'm just saying, you know. So anyway, what else here? So anyway, y'all heard her speech. I'm not going to read it. But at one point, Thunberg and Trump crossed paths when the president made an unexpected visit to the UN's climate meeting. Now, that's funny. Is that picture up here? I hope that's here. Here it is. Oh, this is not it. Asked why he decided to drop by the UN climate summit, President Trump said he's a big believer in clean air and clean water. All countries should get together and do that, and they should do it for themselves, he said. Yeah, you know, go talk. Greta Thunberg, please, 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 please. After you leave the U.S., you get back to school in, is it Sweden or Switzerland? I can't remember which one she lives in. But when you get back to school, the next time you decide to take a vacation or take off and talk about climate change, I would like you to go in front of the parliament in India and give your speech. Because India, their emissions are rising at the fastest rate in the world. And then I want you to go to China and speak in front of the whatever the Communist Party China thing there is. And then I want you to go to Brazil, because those three countries are the ones who are probably growing in emissions more. I'm sure there's others, Indonesia maybe, but go to those countries where they're not reducing their emissions. Okay. Yes, we are one of the top three right now with emissions. Well, if you count the entire European Union, we're comparable to that, but you wouldn't know that because the European Union only goes by country when it's something like this. But then if you want to go by something more comparable, like the United States and the entire European Union, well, you do your own math on that one. Anyway, so let's see. The left hailed Thunberg as a hero, using her speech to attack the president, who famously pulled out of the Paris Climate Accords in 2017. Several of Trump's would-be rivals in the 2020 election praised her speech. In response, Trump offered one of his signature tweets. As best-selling author and Breitbart News entertainment editor Jerome Hudson notes in his book, 50 Things They Don't Want You to Know, the U.S. has lowered emissions while growing its economy through the use of fracking, a practice that most of the Democrats want to stop. Thunberg did not endorse nuclear power, a zero emissions technology, or any other solutions. Yeah, she didn't. She came up there and basically threw out the stuff that they're scaring kids with. You know, how the Earth's gonna be. She's talking about we're at the beginning of extinction. I'm pretty sure we'll figure it out before there's any extinction going on, unless, of course, a meteor hits the planet, and then we'll, whatever. By the way, that's not my ending music. That just happens to be in the list of tunes that I put on here today, which I'm going to, so don't freak out. Although I am going to end soon. So, yeah, and that's the other thing. I know that there's a lot of the people who are really adamant about how the climate thing's going on. For some reason, the solutions they all have to do with renewable energy, right? Well, renewable nuclear. I mean, the nuclear that they use in France. Now, see, that's one thing where Europe, in some places in Europe, do things smarter than we do, because we're so afraid of nuclear. And I think that's got to be one of the. Oh, I know what happened here. The tweets don't come in here, so it didn't show up. Oh well. Anyway, and there's no link to it either. Oh well. Anyway, nuclear is probably part of the, if you're really serious about carbon, nuclear is probably one of the ways it goes. We got to do the research and figure out how to make the waste from nuclear energy either safe or inert or whatever you got to do it. They got to figure that out, but none of them are proposing nuclear. They're talking wind power and solar, which are unreliable. Okay, yes, they are very good in places like Iowa where there's wind constantly. But even in Iowa, I drive through Iowa a lot, going from here to Omaha to visit my mom. And I drive through the wind farms. The wind farms, they have in north, just between Mason City and Fort Dodge, there's a ton of wind farms, and there's also a ton of wind farms along I-80. Some days, those things are cranking. All those, they got about 1,000 of those giant windmills. But some days, they're all just standing still. Because wind is not always windy, right? Well, unless it's windy. All right. All right, real quick. Let me move on here. Oh, I didn't realize I didn't even have that on an article set up there. That would have been the way to see it, but yeah, you're not reading along anyway. All right, let's do a couple Twitter trends, and then I gotta go. I know that that face, man. I'm sorry, but that whole. Granted, she is. I understand she's autistic and doesn't relate emotions the same way most people, but she was really trying to come off as crying. I don't know how much of that is practice. You got to remember, her father's an actor. There's actors. They come from a theatrical family, so I don't know, man. Who knows? I don't discount what she's saying, but I'm not taking her as a moral authority by any stretch of the imagination. All right, let's get into trends here. I got some. Let's see what my notification. Thank you, Tyler F. Let's see, Tyler F, Angel Tibbs, Necrosol, and Ranting Monkey for retweeting my show this morning. I really appreciate that. We're going to get into Twitter trends right now, which we do every day at the end of the show. Fox News apologized to Greta Thunberg, saying comment by Michael Knowles was disgraceful. Okay, what did Michael Knowles say? Did he say on Monday night? Fox News said that it has no plans to book podcast host Michael Knowles again, saying we apologize to Greta Thunberg and to our viewers. The statement following a segment where Knowles referred to the 16-year-old climate activist Greta Thunberg as mentally ill Swedish child. I suppose that wasn't that. Yeah, again, the dangers of putting your kid out there. Now Michael Knowles should have never said that. You know what? It was just unnecessary. But again, her parents put her in that situation. In addition to condemning his comments about Greta Thunberg, disgraceful Fox told me that it has no plans to book Michael Knowles again as a guest. Autistic Self-Advocacy Network Executive Director Julie Bascom, it's absolutely unconscionable to attack someone for their disability, especially when that person is a child. Okay, you're right. But I'm not gonna say but, because that is a standalone statement that I agree with. Here's another statement that I'm gonna make though. Do not use your child with a disability up in front of the world as a human shield that can't be criticized otherwise. Okay, that is an illegitimate criticism, but other things are legitimate. So there you go. All right, moving on. Let's just see what's trending today on Twitter and get out of here. Let's see. Number 1, National Voter Registration Day. Really? Every day is voter registration day. You can vote, but I guess they're making it a bigger deal. Let's see what people are tweeting about this. Our Trump neighborhood team leaders are registering voters across the country today for National Voter Registration Day. Register to vote to keep America great. That's someone named Chris Carr. Everytown USA, the gun-grabbing folks. National Voter Registration Day is one of the easiest holidays to celebrate. All you have to do is register to vote. You know what? In our state, you vote with your driver's license. You register to vote with your driver's license, and they only give you how do they do that? Something with your... only citizens are allowed to vote in our state, which is, they're trying hard not to make it that way. But and so you have a special type of license if you are not a U.S. citizen. So, Alliance for Youth Action. Lots of people talk about registering vote, whatever. You should. Most people register vote and then they renew it almost whatever. Adam Sandler's trending number 2. What? Along with Uncut Gems, Kevin Garnett, and Mind Francesca. What the hell is Adam Sandler trending number 2 for? Al Pacino movie with Adam Sandler instead looks cool. Okay, the first trailer for Adam Sandler's Uncut Gems. All right, Adam Sandler's doing a new movie. I don't know. You know what? I'll check that out later. I have no idea what it's about. Get ready for one of Adam Sandler's best and craziest performances. The trailer for Safdie's Uncut Gems is here, so check that out. Go find that trailer and watch it yourself. I'm not going to play it today because I don't have time. Tuesday Thoughts, Tuesday Motivation. We're going to skip those today. One of those rare times where I actually skip the thoughts and motivations. Our number 2, 3. UNGA World Leaders kick off the first day of debate at the UN General Assembly. Lots of world leaders will be there. Be Best is number 3 or number 6. You're still trying to justify using a child who we are not allowed to criticize to promote your agenda. Bless your heart, be better. It takes even a special sort of monster to ignore adults who are actual scientists for 30 fucking years until it's gotten so hopelessly tragic that children are begging for their future. That's because you fuckers are out there scaremongering the kids when the actual truth is, no matter what we do today, we've already been told that no matter what we do today, the changes that you are expecting are going to happen anyway. And so, really, and also that you're not living the, you're not, what's the word? Fucking A. You're not walking the walk. All you assholes who are trying to tell everyone else what to do, when you start walking the walk and setting the example, maybe we all will. In fact, I already do. Other than driving my Ford F-150, but we recycle, we do all that shit, okay? I've been around since the Keep America Beautiful guy was crying a tear, all right? I remember that commercial, okay? Humans will do things that adjust to the crisis that supposedly is at hand, all right? And then, Melania Trump, Be Best is because of Melania Trump rang the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. She is promoting her Be Best initiative, which I don't even know what that is. Yeah, she's the anti-bullying. Did the president mock her? Seems like, okay, look, here we go. Seems like a very happy young girl looking forward to a bright and wonderful future. Nice to see. Is that mocking her? Really? Or is you just assume it's mocking her? She seems like a very happy young girl looking forward to a bright and wonderful future. So nice to see. Maybe he was mocking her because she's hey, I'm sure that's not the worst thing that's been said about her. So yeah, it is somewhat ironic that Melania has the Be Best campaign and Trump is kind of a bully on Twitter. But you know what? Who cares? Teleprompter. Okay, apparently Donald Trump said something else. When Trump reads from a teleprompter, we get a better sense of how bad his reading comprehension is. He can't pronounce rolls correctly. They should have spelled it rolls for him. Oh, for God's sake. You know what? All you public speaking geniuses who never misspeak. Anyway, NWTS. What the hell is NWTS? Oh, this is, that was a Drake album. Don't care. It released 6 years ago. All right, good. Come on, click. Kia is Kia. What is not Kia the car, but Kia? Oh, why are y'all liking and sharing that video of Kia spewing HIV and AIDS joke? I'm sick of you backwards, self-hating, hypocritical sentiment, dollop of dog shit. Okay, I don't even know who that is, nor do I care, and we're going to skip that too. Hello, Parliament's trending. UK Supreme Court rules that Boris Johnson's suspension of Parliament was unlawful. Fascinating. I wonder if it was unlawful for anyone or just for Boris Johnson. You know, because their court system works differently there. where they can kind of just, I don't know, everything's from common law precedent, and so it can change drastically just with whoever's with the court. I don't know. Who knows? I don't care. Gritty's trending. Happy first birthday, Gritty. I don't know why. Gritty's who's he the he's the mascot of the Philadelphia Flyers, and it's his first birthday. But for some reason, like, the people on the left took him over for a while. But anyway, update. A year on, it appears that Gritty NHL is chill, actually. Vice regrets the error. Happy birthday, King. Okay, so, okay, I don't really care. It just, Gritty's a year old. Trump's UN is trending. I'm not going to worry about it. Covington's trending. Flashback. Here's how the left treated 16-year-old. Yeah, y'all, yeah, it's hilarious that you talk about how Greta Thunberg is treated. Y'all remember how the Covington kids were treated? Who did nothing. They weren't sending out any messages. They just had some dude come up and bang a drum in a kid's face and listen to a bunch of asshole black Israelites, and they diffused the situation by just doing something fun. But remember how they treated Nick Sandmann, okay? My buddy Sophane, I'm sorry. Yeah, you guys are talking about how people are talking about Greta Thunberg. Remember the Covington kids? Remember them? You remember them? Covington students were smeared and thrust into the media spotlight against their will. Greta chose to be a public spokesperson. Big difference. But did they smear that kid? Holy shit. Doxed him. Threatened him, had people at his school taking pictures of the kids. Remember Kathy Griffith wanting to find out where those kids' addresses are. We need to find out everything about them, right? Remember that? Y'all remember that? I know you do. Moving on. Covington, who else? Kenny Chesney. Okay, what? Why is Kenny Chesney on here? Is he going on tour? Oh, okay, line them up. Kenny Chesney, Florida Georgia Line, Kane Brown, Brett Young, Gabby Barrett, and Tiki Tailgate at the Tiki Tailgate Fest with Tyler Rich. Apparently, Kenny Chesney's going on tour with a whole bunch of people. Now, Kenny Chesney's coming to Kansas City too. Okay, these guys are touring. So if you're a country music fan, know who Kenny Chesney is. He's out on tour right now. And finally, Lady Hale is the last one today. UK Supreme Court has ruled that Prime Minister's decision to suspend Parliament was unlawful. Whatever. Watch Lady Hale announce. Oh, Lady Hale is the Supreme. So watch announce the verdict on Boris Johnson's suspension of Parliament. The prorogation was also void of and of no effect. Parliament has not been prorogued. This is the unanimous judgment of all 11 judges. So that's kind of like their Supreme Court's kind of like our Ninth Circuit, but they have no one to overrule them, so they can kind of read what they want to into the law, and so they took away a legal maneuver that has been used in Parliament before, but whatever. So, all right. So, hey, y'all, I'm sorry. I was a little late today because I was late home from work, so had to start late. But hey, we had some fun. Boy, did I rant today. I didn't get to any. Did I get to any news articles? I don't really did, other than the ones in the Twitter. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for coming today. I really appreciate you being here. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button. Kind of right here, I think is somewhere. Is that close? Close enough. Hit the like button on the way out. If you listen to this after the fact, go ahead and share out the stream. And thanks for being here. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. And we're supported fully by the people who watch the stream. If you choose to do so, we do super chats and donations through the Streamlabs link if you like what we do. But more importantly, like and share. We're trying to grow, and that's the biggest thing for me right now. I'm gonna start. I keep saying I'm gonna start doing videos again, but I have so many videos started that I just haven't put out. So hopefully this weekend, this Friday also, I may have a guest. I'm going to go back to having the Dog Park Fridays, where we have a guest on Fridays where we come into the dog park and play nice. A lot of times the people I agree with, and sometimes there'll be people I don't agree with. Some people will just be interesting. And so hopefully that'll find some interest to you also. Let's see, today's Tuesday, right? So tomorrow, Wednesday, I might have a Jussie Smollett update tomorrow. It's been a while since I've done my Jussie update. Also on Thursday, we have FTG Thursdays. If you have any nominations, you can send those to my Twitter account right here at Dawg Knight. You can't see it right now because of the way that looks, but at Dawg Knight is my Twitter, Gab, and mine's handles. Although I'm mostly on Twitter, the other two are just there to hold a spot in case I lose my Twitter account. And if you want to email things to me, you can put that at on the other side, pdogknight@gmail.com. And then I also have an Instagram, yes, that Marty. So thanks for being here today. I really got to go, though. I appreciate you. My name is Dawg Knight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the Dawg Knight channel. Before you go, if you like what you saw and you're not already subscribed, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below, and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 2 p.m. GMT. A special thanks to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through our Streamlabs link in the description below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.